4 years ago, almost to this day, this congregation and community opened their hearts and their arms in welcome to Ingrid Encalada La Torre, Bryant Moya, and Anibal Jurado. We also opened ourselves to what has become a joyous adventure. However, at that same time, we literally closed our church doors in order to provide this young family with a place of safety and security. And on that day, we created Sanctuary, and we made a promise, both to the family and to ourselves, that we would be companions on their road into the future, no matter how far it would go, nor how long it would take. This morning, we've extended an invitation to members and volunteers from the other faith communities which have shared in our commitment and who have walked on this path along with us. And they will be joining us this morning. And I see that several of you already accepted our invitation. Hello, my name is Fred Cole, and it is truly an honor for me to be the worship leader for today's service. We welcome all at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Boulder. All of you are welcome, and all of you are sacred. Whatever your past was like, whatever this present moment is like for you, we invite you to join as we journey into the future together. It is through the magic of the internet that we can again come together in blessed community. The Zoom chat will be open if you need to get a message to us. And there also you'll find a link to this morning's order of service. If you are a new online visitor, please email our office administrator, Amy Zen, and let us know how you found us. You'll find her email listed in the Zoom chat. Our church website also has a great deal of information about UUCB, its programs, and our other activities. Now, please ensure that your microphones remain muted as we join together for worship.
For many reasons, people depart. They leave home and seek refuge for 1,000 dangers and uncertainties. They surrender climate and food and sounds and smells that their bodies have always known for the new, the unfamiliar, the harsh, and the unlearnable.
What deep respect these refugees, asylees, and immigrants deserve for their courage, for their capacity to keep moving forward toward hope. Respect, not pity, not charity, respect and solidarity. Ingrid is a leader, and her being visible in Sanctuary and speaking out as she does is an inspiration to countless people who share her situation being undocumented in the United States. And she is not helpless or to be pitied. She is one of the strongest people I have ever met.
When human suffering comes spilling over our borders, there is no clear division between them and us. We play a role in inequality and ecological disasters and wars over dwindling resources. One of the greatest gifts that Ingrid gives this congregation is the gift of holy discomfort. Knowing that she is in our midst, fighting for change, means that this one issue cannot be dismissed or ignored, even if we are tired of supporting it. Our growing relationship with her and her family makes the immigration issue personal and concrete. It cannot remain in the space of a faceless issue of statistics within our minds.
Fear, I think, is what's at the heart of the stingy fool's game of deciding which immigrants are deserving of asylum. Fear is a voice that says, nothing matters more than my own self-preservation and self-importance. Fear is the voice which distorts our American ideals, pretending that what freedom means is the private privilege for those who are already here by mere random chance of birth to hoard what they have. But today we remember that real freedom is not merely the liberty to take and keep, but the freedom to share and to build.
What would it be like, I wonder, to choose another path? Our relationship with Ingrid challenges us to face our own unconscious biases and systemic racism within ourselves. How much would it cost us to invoke the principles of our faith and the beating heart of our ethical lives by saying,
we are a single interconnected human family?
the suffering of people beyond our borders asks us to examine how we've created the conditions for its experience.
What would it be like to say all people have the same worth and the same inherent dignity, and no human being is illegal?
And what would it be like to say we make one another stronger and braver by sharing what we have?
What would it be like, I wonder, to choose a different path, to demand a deeper justice led by our courageous choice? What would it be like to tend to the fires of our own commitment? You know it well. You've been doing it all together.
From the light of days remembered burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, and our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the stories of our living rings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin.
I'm Barb Richards. It has been my extreme honor to have been a front door volunteer for the past 4 years. Do I miss my assignment? Oh, very much. What have I gained from my 9 hours a week, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday? Number one, I gained an incredible friend and her family. I was always there to work with Ingrid and for her needs. Becoming her friend was truly a bonus. I was also there, of course, to monitor the front door, letting people in to assist the staff and being on point in case ICE came knocking. Thankfully, this never happened on mine or anyone else's shift. During this time, I covered 3 Boulder Valley UU Fellowship Memorial Services because they were closed for their remodeling construction. I enjoyed relationships with people from other churches and organizations that were before and after my shift, and I got to meet AOC. I completed, at a minimum, 10 books, which selfishly was for me. We have the wonderful items that I purchased from Ingrid that came from Mexico and Peru. It was long enough ago that Annabelle, Mimi to me, used to sit on my lap with his blanket, and now he is 6 and crossing the bridge to Eisenhower Elementary. Time spent with Brian was always so enjoyable, as he was an incredible young man from day one of their arrival. It's been harder to connect with Elizabeth, baby boo to us, after the pandemic hit, but we've made progress. Watching Ingrid's strength, her never giving up, and being there to celebrate her wins has been my favorite what I have gained. Supporting her through her pardon from Governor Polis and now her stay for a year. I want them long gone permanently, but selfishly I will truly miss my extended family.
And as it was in the beginning, when we began this whole Sanctuary Now adventure, because of UUCB's location, we identified Eisenhower Elementary School as being one of the major constituencies that needed to be appraised of our plans. And I was the person that was chosen to make the contact because my granddaughter, Soraya, had just recently attended there. Thus, it was only natural that when Bryant appeared in midterm, that I volunteered to be the liaison with the school. I met with the staff and introduced Bryant to his teachers, one of whom had been Soraya's teacher. Because Ingrid was required to stay here on the church grounds, I was designated as Bryant's emergency contact and became the go-between who arranged for parent-teacher conferences, etc. Well, Barb and I soon became also his honorary abuelos, attending dodgeball tournaments, activity nights, track and field days, and this was absolutely no burden for either of us, as we discovered that we weren't the only abuelos that were involved at Eisenhower. And at one point, we learned that Bryant was helping his classmates with their English. I have continued as Bryant's liaison during his attendance at Manhattan Middle School, but because of the pandemic, much of his academic experience there was forced to continue remotely. He's back now, and glad. Bryant is an excellent student, and I look forward to attending his graduation this spring, along with his mother. It's hard to believe that he'll be ready for Fairview come September. In the meantime, Annabelle began attending Boulder Valley School District's Mapleton Early Childhood Center, and he absolutely loved being picked up and dropped off by the school bus. Well, this too was ended with the pandemic. But fortunately, in January, we found a space at a private preschool, Alaya, up in North Boulder, and it took a dedicated group of volunteers to provide him with the necessary transportation. but he did it. In September, it was my great privilege to escort Annabelle to his first day of kindergarten across the bridge at Eisenhower. That afternoon, I had to go back across the bridge to find him and remind him that he was supposed to come home after school. And this had caused some consternation among the authorities over there because they don't have that many kindergartners that walk to school. And let's not forget Elizabeth. Currently, she is a scholarship student at Persimmon Early Learning of the YWCA. She goes 3 days a week. And our thanks to Mary Neff, who coordinates the volunteers who get her there and back each day that she goes. And it's as I told Ingrid a few weeks ago, now you get to attend your own back to school night. I'm sorry, I got another page. If you're joining us online or have a candle or a chalice near your computer, please get ready to light it. We invite you to type into the Zoom chat where your chalice is being lit, the street or neighborhood, or what city if you're joining us from beyond Boulder County. I'd now like to invite Mary Deneen, the chair of Sanctuary Now, to light this morning's chalice. Mary?
Good morning. As Fred said, my name is Mary Deneen, and I am the chair of the Sanctuary Now Ministry. I have been a member of UUCB since 1997, and I became involved with immigration ministry in 2012. We have companioned immigrants on their journeys since that time. In 2017, I stood up here before you to ask you, the members of UUCB, to vote to become a sanctuary church, a place for an undocumented person to live safely instead of being forcibly deported. We enthusiastically voted to be a host church, and I thank you for that. We had no idea when the Metro Denver Sanctuary Coalition would match us with a guest needing sanctuary. I also had no idea that I would be standing here 4 years later with our beautiful guest Ingrid, living here at UUCB that entire time. That December night in 2017, when I received the call that our guest would be moving into UUCB, was cold and snowy. I was at a Christmas party with family and friends, and at 8 p.m. I left the party alone and headed to the church, full of anticipation and wondering how things would go. We had the room all set up. We were ready, but I didn't know what I was ready for. Ingrid arrived with several supporters, and Omar offered to spend the night. I was full of so many emotions and overwhelmed by all the unknowns. When we sign up to volunteer, we don't always know for how long or in what capacity, but we have always tried to follow Ingrid's lead. Over the years, I have seen that I can't fix the complicated and broken immigration system, but I can offer compassion and make connections with others. During my journey with Ingrid, I have learned to be more open to the unknown, be flexible, and live in the moment. I am practicing living my faith boldly. Life is sometimes messy and complicated. Ingrid's situation is messy and complicated, but she does not seek pity. I've witnessed her experience pain and hardship, but I've also witnessed her experience immense joy and gratitude. I would like to thank you, the members and friends of UUCB, for being a sanctuary to Ingrid and her family. And thank you, Ingrid, for allowing me to be a part of your life. I am in awe of your strength and resilience. I light this chalice in gratitude for Ingrid and her family.
We now invite all those gathered in our various locations to join together in fellowship and community as we say aloud together our congregation's covenant. For those of you unfamiliar with our rituals, this is a promise that we have been making to one another whenever we gather for more than 60 years. Repeat with me. We gather in fellowship to speak truth to each other, to reach out and touch one another, to care with each other, and to seek the truth divine. So be it.
Early in January of 2018, Susan, my wife, and I arrived at our church that was newly locked in order to protect Ingrid's family. Every Tuesday for 2 years, Susan would watch the door from 9 till noon, while I got to play with Annibal. We would start in the sandbox. Then we would run up and down the mound at the far end of the playground. Then we would climb up and slide down this play structure. We would circle around a series of equipment, balance beams, old tires, monkey bars, parallel bars. Then we would swing and then climb up the crabapple tree. And some days we would even explore the woods and water behind the church property. Annibal, whom I still know as Mimi, seemed to have more fun than I did. Even more fun than I did. I truly enjoyed helping him have the kind of experiences that I still treasure from my own childhood. Of course, I am only one of many adults who have befriended Ingrid's children. But I am the lucky adult whose sole responsibility was to accompany Bryant, Annibal, and later Elizabeth. Sadly, the pandemic has disrupted our weekly visits since early 2020. Accompanying children has long been one of my joys, and witnessing Bryant, Annibal, and Elizabeth grow up in a family of courage, kindness, trust, and responsibility has been a source of light for me and many during these very dark years. Surely, I speak for the many adult friends of these precious children when I say, my heart has been touched and my life made richer by the hours I have spent with Ingrid's children, Bryant, Annibal, and Elizabeth.
I am remembering when Jennifer Piper of the American Friends Service Committee organized the Metro Denver Sanctuary Coalition in 2007. Soon, First Unitarian in Denver elected to become a host congregation, and Arturo Hernandez became their first sanctuary guest. UUCB agreed to be a supporting congregation. We admired their courage, but we had no shower, so we didn't think we could host someone in sanctuary here. Kelly Dignan was our intern minister and helped us form our immigration reform task force. We established relationships with the Colorado Immigrant Rights Coalition, the Immigrant Legal Aid Society of Boulder, and others. We began to help people. We circulated petitions to legalize driver's licenses for undocumented people so they could obtain insurance coverage. By 2017, Reverend Kelly, now our parish minister, and Jenny Fitpeister, chair of our immigration ministry, toured our facilities with a contractor to investigate the shower issue. He showed them how we might rig up a shower right away in the men's bathroom at minimal expense. This changed our conversation. We began the discernment process in earnest. We held open discussions, workshops, trainings, and speakers, including immigration attorneys and Mike Moran, minister at First Unitarian. Along the way, we discovered strengths, adaptability, and determination we didn't know we had. And something began to feel familiar to me. In the 1990s, I was training to be a chaplain. Will Reller was the chaplain at Boulder Community Hospital and my supervisor. On my designated days, he would hand me a list of patient names and room numbers to visit. No preparation, no background, just do it. Stepping into the unknown may be an acquired taste, one I came to love. Walking into someone's hospital room requires courage, openness, strength, and belief in oneself. In one of my evaluation meetings with Will and my CPE supervisor, they asked me how it felt to encounter a new patient. And I said, it was quite daunting at first. But now it had come to feel like stepping off a cliff and knowing that you won't fall. Today, I offer this prayer for our congregation and our allies in the Boulder County Sanctuary Coalition, and for Ingrid and Kalada Laturi, who has faced the greatest jeopardy for more than 20 years. Eternal Spirit of life, we honor and give thanks for this congregation, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Boulder. Deep gratitude to all who found within ourselves the courage, openness, strength, and belief in ourselves to step into the unknown together. We have traveled with Ingrid the dark and rocky road of our broken immigration system, but also shared the fun of birthday parties and potluck dinners, even a mechanical bull. Learning from Ingrid, her history and determination, we have marched demonstrated, raised funds, advocated, gathered petition signatures. Significant progress has been achieved, but there is still a way to go. With deep gratitude, we celebrate this cherished opportunity to live our UU values and to leave a lasting legacy of this experience to those who will come after us and remember what we have done. Amen. Blessed be. May it be so.
Friends, will you take a breath with me? And another. I know I need to slow down. Slow down with me. It's right in this moment to pause and to take a breath. Coming up over a ridge line in the hills, you wait a minute and you look back at the way you've come and you see all the distance that you've traveled, and then you turn around too and you see what's ahead of you, all the mountains still left to climb. And that's the moment that we're in as a community. All the distance behind us doesn't mean there aren't still mountains ahead, and all the mountains ahead don't mean we haven't come a long, long, difficult road to get here. In this moment in the service each week, we pause to share our joys and our sorrows, to trust a little piece of our lives into each other's hands so that we don't go it alone in this life, so that we can set down just for a minute whatever mask it is that we wear to face the world on a daily basis. And whether you add those hopes or concerns into chat, whether you hold them silently in your heart, you know that you're not alone. We're with you and we're in it together. And so as the music continues, I invite you to offer in chat any joys and hopes, any sorrows and worries that you carry with you this morning. For all those hopes, for all those worries, thank you for the ways that you bless each other in community.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Root hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Fuente de amor, ven hacia mí y al corazón
Oh, okay. Un momentito. Good morning, everybody. Como muchos me conocen, mi nombre es Ingrid Encalada. Yo y mis hijos hemos llamado la iglesia como mi casa por estos 4 años. Hoy día quisiera agradecerles a todos por todo su apoyo incondicional que me han abierto las puertas.
Hello, everyone. Like most of you know, my name is Ingrid Encalada. Most of you know, my children and I have been calling this lovely church our home for the past 4 years. I'd like to thank you all for your unconditional love and support.
Yo sé que mi situación es diferente y un poco compleja y que lo más ideal es sentir lástima.
I am aware that my situation is quite different from most. Yes, it's complicated, and most of you can't help but feel bad for me.
Pero eso no es el caso. Mi situación me ha hecho una mujer poderosa y fuerte, resiliente y de ejemplo mi historia es única e inspira a la gente.
But that is not the case at all. My story is unique and inspires people all around the world to never give up. It has made me a woman that is resilient, powerful, and a leader.
A que no se rajen y que luchen. Cuando yo decidí ingresar a Santuario no era fácil. Yo me hice como responsable de ser la cara de los 12 millones de inmigrantes.
When I came into Sanctuary, I was aware that it wasn't an easy decision. I took on the responsibility of representing the 12 million immigrants here in the United States.
Yo en ningún momento he perdido la esperanza. Yo siempre he vivido en la fe de nuestra justicia llegará. Yo quiero pedirles hoy que se unan conmigo y que me vean como una guerrera, como una mujer luchadora. Eso es lo que soy, una guerrera que nunca se da por vencida.
I am someone who has never let go of my faith, even when that seemed like that was the only option. I've always been hopeful that our justice will be given. Today, I'd like to ask you all to join me on my vision and that you let go of any thought that makes you feel pity for me. From now on, view me as a warrior, because that is what I am, a warrior.
Pues yo y mis hijos, el 2017, cuando vinimos a la iglesia, no fue fácil una decisión, pero agradecemos mucho a todos los voluntarios que han estado en mi camino.
When my kids and I came into Sanctuary, it was not an easy decision, but I want to thank everyone who has been in this journey with me.
Llevando a mis hijos a la escuela, a la librería, a los parques, ya que por mucho tiempo no he podido hacerlo. Y tener aquí a mi hija Elizabeth no fue una decisión fácil, fue una sorpresa en mi vida.
And I just want to thank you all for taking my children to school and taking them to the parks now that I haven't been able to do that myself. And having my baby girl Elizabeth here at the church wasn't something easy, and all of you stood by my side.
Acompañándome en los eventos, en las marchas mensuales que tuve, las fiestas de los niños, que ellos lo han disfrutado mucho y yo. Y pues aquí vamos a seguir caminando y en la lucha. Mi situación no ha terminado, pero aquí estamos presentes.
And all protests and all the parties that we've hosted for my children here at the church that they've enjoyed very, very much, I'd just like to thank you all for everything.
Y esperemos que este año se cierre, que haga una legalización para los 12 millones de inmigrantes en este país y pues aquí y la lucha sigue.
And let's just hope that this year our 12 million immigrants are heard and that something is done. And like she likes to say, the fight continues. Hello, everyone. My name is Diana Solares. I have been representing Ingrid for the past couple of months. It has been an absolute honor, and I can't thank her enough for giving me this position. Early January, I applied for a position as her advocate here at the Boulder Sanctuary Coalition. And a couple months went by, 1 month went by, 2 months went by, 3 months went by, and I got a mysterious call from a man named Bob Norris. And he called me and said that they were interested in scheduling an interview with me. And from that moment on, it all started. I am a 23-year-old woman who was raised in Aurora, Colorado. I am half Honduran, half Guatemalan, so Central American. And when applying for this, I was really, really excited. I didn't know what to expect, but I decided to take my shot because my hunger for wanting to serve my beautiful brown people has always been second nature. I have always been someone who believes in serving in something higher other than myself, my ego, and my own necessities. When I was giving this position, I made a promise to Ingrid, and I remember looking her in the eyes, and I told her that she was going to be given justice, and that I was going to accompany her on this journey no matter how long it took. And I am here to tell her again that I am here for her and that we're going to make something happen, and that I am always going to be here as her friend. Ingrid and I have not only built a work relationship for the past couple of months, but it's a friendship. I sometimes even forget to write my timesheets because it's just so natural. And so Ingrid is just someone that constantly inspires me, and she doesn't only fight for her justice, but she fights for the justice of the Latino community as a whole, and that is something that I can stand behind for the rest of my life. I'd also like to thank all of you for believing in me and allowing me to be a part of such a beautiful and selfless community. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Diana, and thank you, Ingrid. Diana, we're grateful to have you. We're lucky to have you. And Ingrid, we love you as always. And I would like to introduce to you Bob Norris from the Boulder County Sanctuary Coalition. The Boulder County Sanctuary Coalition is composed of numerous congregations in addition to UUCB, and works closely with Sanctuary Now and Ingrid to resolve her case and fix our broken immigration system. This includes Boulder Valley UU Fellowship, Boulder Mennonite Church, Boulder Friends Meeting, First Congregational Church, Community United Church of Christ, and other congregations who contribute in many ways. So now I invite you to welcome Bob Norris, who is the chair of Boulder County Sanctuary Coalition, to share a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana. It's certainly been my pleasure to be part of the Sanctuary Coalition and to have spent much of my last 4 years here and with Ingrid and with her children. On behalf of the Sanctuary Coalition, I would like to thank the Unitarian Universalist Church of Boulder for continuing to provide a home for Ingrid and her family. Without the home you have provided, the coalition would not have been able to support Ingrid in her efforts to continue her effort to resolve her case. As an example, we had quite an effort to get her stay of removal, which included Congressman Neguse, Governor Polis, and several others. Without the church's welcome for Ingrid and her family, the coalition members would not have had the privilege and pleasure of getting to know Ingrid and her family. And that certainly included me. This has been a real personal pleasure for me to know Ingrid and her family It has changed my life because every time I think of some of the personal challenges I have, I see what Ingrid has done with her in courage. The coalition would also like to thank the many members that have done so much to help Ingrid and her family in so many ways. I would also like to comment, as I was listening to the presentations earlier, what I've seen of the people that preceded me in this presentation and what all of them have done. And it's not just those people. How many people in this congregations and in the other congregations, the time they have put in to helping Ingrid, and in doing so have created a kind of a special community within the community. And I really encourage everybody to participate in that. And I thank you. And as a final statement, the coalition, and I in particular, commit to taking as long as it takes to help Ingrid and her family as we go through this journey together.
Can I invite all of our speakers, all the folks we've heard from this morning, to join Reverend Dana and I up front here. As you can hear from everyone's comments this morning, this act of living our values in the world was made possible by every single person who has volunteered in one way or another. From being a door monitor, to driving the kids where they need to go, to doing laundry and grocery shopping, to walking and exercising and hanging out with Ingrid and playing with their kids, becoming a part of their lives, being in relationship. You have made a difference not only to Ingrid, but also in the life of this church and in your own spirit. Thank you to all of our volunteers, to everyone near and far who has supported and done this work. Thank you for the countless hours and days and weeks and months and years of your time and energy and love and care. And we're still in the midst of it. Help with laundry and childcare and getting out into the community after being in these four walls for so long is still needed. If you can help out with any of those things, send a note to the email address that's getting dropped into chat. Friends and members of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Boulder, last spring, as you looked for a minister and I looked for a church, I learned the story of your commitment to Ingrid and to Sanctuary. I learned that you made a commitment to put your money where your values are. You made a commitment not to let the everything that you could not do keep you from something that you could do. You made a commitment to make a real, a tangible difference in the life of one family. You made a commitment not to lead, to dictate. You made a commitment not to give charity and fix and save, but to accompany and companion. And so you made a commitment not just to justice work out there in the world, but to soul work in here. And you made that commitment not knowing where it would lead, or how or when, but nonetheless declaring that the work for justice was too important to wait to know every single answer and every possible outcome. You made a courageous and a faithful choice. We make the path by walking, says the poet Antonio Machado. Caminante son tus huellas el camino y nada más. Traveler, it's your footprints which are the road, nothing more. Caminante, no hay camino. Se hace camino al andar. Traveler, there is no road. You make your own path by walking. Y lo siento por mi español. This path started as a faithful response in partnership with the immigration community, with the immigrant community, to walk with them and to follow their lead in a fight for immigration justice. And now it's become more than that. Ingrid and Bryant and Anibal and Elizabeth are in our hearts. And caring for them, companioning them, has become a part of our lives. This stay of removal, which began 6 weeks ago, reminds me of words from Churchill. It's not the end, and it's not the beginning of the end, but it is the end of the beginning. Ingrid, you and your family have a home here. And if you stay this year not knowing what the road ahead brings, we're here to accompany you. And if you move out and need to come back, we're here to accompany you. There is an abundance here, an abundance of space and time and people who love you and your whole family. 6 weeks ago, your world turned upside down yet again. And our work as a community, and our commitment, as it always has been, is to accompany you and to companion you and to follow your leadership. In a world that so often responds with fear and hate and closed doors, we are grateful to continue to respond with faith, with compassion, with open arms. And I speak for everyone when I say it is an honor to serve Ingrid and her kids by providing a safe and a welcoming home and companionship as they navigate this very difficult reality that most of us can't even comprehend. Living into a space where the future isn't known or assured or given. But today we renew our commitment to justice work and to our own soul work.
You can bring her too. Yeah. Everybody has to see this adorable little sweetheart. Okay. During the past 4 years, we have come to know and love you and your family. Our relationships with you have blessed us with you and your lively spirits. The bonds we hold with you remind us to honor the human spirit of all immigrants and all people and to work towards justice for all. Ingrid, we love you. Bryant, where are you? Right here. We love you. Annie Ball, we love you. And adorable Elizabeth, we love you. We are committed to continuing to work together as you lead us in creating a just world where you and all immigrants can live in their own homes in peace without persecution. We are here for you in whatever way you need us, to provide for you a safe and loving space, to call your temporary home, knowing that it is only a substitute for the freedom to be in your own home. And we will continue to work with you to foster a caring environment that meets your and your family's developing and changing needs.
Friends gathered online, will you unmute yourself? And in the glorious chaos, which is Zoom when everyone speaks, will you join me and will you join all of us in saying together these words of commitment? With this spirit of love and goodwill, we recommit ourselves to partnering with you and your family, following your lead as we work together toward immigration justice for you and for all. We commit to this promise with our love. Thank you.
to proclaim. We are answering the call of love. Put your hands together. A bright new day is dawning, when love will not divide. Reflections of grace in every embrace, fulfilling the vision divine. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together, hearts beat as one, emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim. We are answering the call of love. We are answering the call of love.
Wow. Hey, today we're doing something really special with our offering. We asked Ingrid if there was a particular charity or event that she would like to make a contribution to. And she replied that every year around Christmas time, her sister, Alaciel, goes to Peru and visits in a small village, San Antonio, Cusco. This village is very poor and has very few resources. So each year, Ingrid gives her sister money to be given to the Organización Llevando Alegrías, means giving joy, which is used to provide a special treat for the children of the village. Well, last year the children received a hot chocolate drink, a pan dulce, or sweetbread, and a sports ball. And she does this because, and I'm quoting her, "When I used to live over there, I never had any of these things, and now I've had the opportunity to give them gifts that I never had." So 100% of today's offering will go to giving joy. You can make a donation now using the online donation link, which is posted in the Zoom chat, by sending a check to UUCB indicating this date on the memo line, or by scanning the QR code on the next slide that will appear with your mobile phone. We will leave that slide up for about 30 seconds to allow you time for scanning, and then we'll follow it with a brief slideshow of pictures that were taken just last January. I invite you to give as generously as you are able. Thank you for your gifts. I'm sure that Ingrid and the children of San Antonio, Cusco will have a merrier Christmas because of your generosity.
I close with a word of gratitude and a word of charge to each and all of us. We pause in this moment, having crested the ridgeline, looking back at 4 years of distance we've traveled, at the dozens, at the hundreds even of hands which have come together to make this possible. I add my voice to everyone else you've heard this morning saying thank you. Thank you for a gift of service and a gift of our own transformation in that service. Grateful to everyone who gathered today to bring this service together, and to some of you who I'll see again at 7 o'clock for our Blue Christmas service. Friends, if you're not feeling so merry and bright this holiday season, tune in this evening. But let me finish us this morning with a word of charge along with the gratitude. And it is a charge to our own holy discomfort, a charge to our own holy unrest, that we not get too comfortable with the broken world that we live in, that we not acclimate ourselves to an unjust system which day in and day out sees neither the worth nor the dignity of refugees and immigrants and asylum seekers, that we instead go out into our lives, into this world, into this week, carrying with us a holy unrest. Go in peace, and amen.
Wander as you may, blessed is the path you take. May love guide you on your way. Go your way in peace. Wander as you may, blessed is the path you take. May love guide you on your way.
Were able to join us this morning as we recommitted ourselves to the continuing struggle for immigration justice. There will be no Zoom breakout rooms this morning. Instead, everyone is invited to stay here in the main room for a special panel discussion. This is your opportunity to ask those questions which are rolling around in your head right now about where is our Sanctuary Now work going, and what does the future hold for Ingrid and her family now that she's been granted that stay of removal. Reverend David will moderate this discussion, and the panel will consist of people who've been involved in the Sanctuary Now effort since the beginning. You are asked to pose your questions via the Zoom chat, and these messages will be directed only to Reverend David. We'll now be taking a short break. However, the Zoom chat will remain open so that you may pose your questions and add other comments. We will reconvene in 5 minutes after the end of the prelude, or postlude. Jeez. Anyway, we'll see you all then. Bye.